What was the thing that I told you when I got back from that walk? I went on a walk by myself, and I came back, and I was like, I just need to tell you a few really major things about my day so far. And, like, I think it was, like, your uncle gave me a tomato.
You learned about barbecue sauce.
And I saw a really weird bug.
Yeah, you told me that, yeah. And then you tried to describe it for, like, 3 minutes.
Basically, it was an armadillo.
And now you're gonna start describing
It's an armadillo. It was an armadillo, but it was a bug. But it was like probably a bug. But it looked a lot like an armadillo, but like tiny.
I hate you.
Hey, this is Amrita and Andrew. We're on a podcast journey to find our way through freelance life. If you're thinking about taking a leap off the beaten path in any part of your life, our inexpert advice is, don't think twice.
Live from the mountains.
From the mountains.
This is our Blue Ridge edition.
Yeah, it's technically our July edition, although we are coming to you in August.
You know, the thing about time is...
Time means nothing.
that it's after time.
We're so post-time right now.
Clock ticking, think of you.
What is that?
You need the game. What do you mean, what is that?
I'm asking. What is that?
Cyndi Lauper.
Oh. I didn't get that from what you gave me.
Anyway, welcome to Don't Think Twice. This is our Blue Ridge edition.
We're sitting here with
yellow wafer, some white wine, and some liqueur. Because we have that's infiltrated the mountains.
It has. Mm-hmm. In fact, I noticed that when we got here and we went to go get some produce from your brother, he was casually drinking a LaCroix, just
at his own home.
In his own home.
In his own establishment.
In his own establishment. Mm-hmm.
And cheers to Adam Christopher Stevens.
Is he a Christopher?
He's a Christopher, yeah.
So we just had your family over.
We just had them over. They're delightful, aren't they?
They are such a treat. Really, 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 really. Like...
Thank you for...
It was
a whole family day,
actually.
Day. Because earlier today we had other family members over.
Your cousins. The little baby
niece. My grandfather.
Grandfather.
And this evening we had my mom and my brother, and they were just... they're always great. But, you know, my opinion is biased.
Always great. I really like... Because they want to hear... I feel they want to hear your successes and failures in equal measure, because... One they revel in, and then the other they sort of cackle at. So
yeah, cackle at the successes and revel in the family.
No,
you know, like all good families do.
That's right.
No, but they were great, and now we are here on our last night of a month-long escape from the city and a two-week sojourn into the mountains. A riding retreat is a better way to say it.
But no, it was a sojourn into the mountains. So, setting the scene, we're here in this house. We're in a small mountain town.
Saluda, North Carolina, in case your Wikipedia page is open.
It is super quiet. I mean, it's not... It's quiet in the sense that there's a riot of cicadas going on. But it is super quiet. In fact, before I got here, you were a little afraid.
I was here for a week before our mother got here. This is a home that my mom will move into, although right now she's in her old home. So we've had the luxury of being in it for
we've had an entire home to ourselves.
2 weeks.
An entire mountain home to ourselves for 2 weeks to write.
But before Amrita showed up, I was here by myself. And let me tell you that although I grew up in a pretty rural location, it was in a neighborhood. And this is on 6 acres of land. And you just feel the right possibility that there's going to be like a mountain person who just creeps out of the
but I think that this is the real indication of a city person. It's like
when you feel less safe when there aren't people around.
Correct. Yeah, and I think like a lot of people, like someone from here would come to the city and be like, "Oh, it's like really scary because there's so many people around all the time. You can hear your neighbors." Pretty much 24/7. In some cases you can see them. But for us, it's like, it's so
It's very quiet, and I have a little bit of I'm not going to call it a problem, but I will call it a slight affliction, and that is talking in my sleep.
Oh, I didn't know
pretty
you were
loudly.
and you were going to share that?
Yeah, talking in my sleep pretty loudly, and at times getting out of bed. And I won't go as too far as to say sleepwalking, although there have been instances of sleepwalking.
I would go so far as
It's
to
not
call it that.
well. So I did
You've
sleepwalk.
caught yourself in Brooklyn, woken up to find yourself having put on your robe. So in Brooklyn, it usually takes on the same, because you have a very, very good routine
Right.
when you're in your own space. That you get out of bed and you put on your robe before you go and do things. I guess you must.
Yeah,
because,
have a bathrobe. Why not?
When you're asleep, the first thing that happens is you put on a robe to go do whatever shit in your dream you're trying to do. So you've woken up as far away as almost your front door.
Yes, I've been at my front door.
Wearing your bathrobe.
Right.
That you fell asleep, obviously.
So it's and we talked about this earlier today, and I don't know if there anyone out there who is a sleepwalker or sleep talker and has any sort of insight into what it means, because there are times in my life when I do it more, and then times when I do it less.
I would say,
so
again, totally anecdotally, I feel that it seems like it's a lot more. Of course, like I don't often...
A lot more than it has been.
Yeah. But like I haven't shared a space with you, like a home with you, like in this way for a really long time. Like, we traveled together.
Well, we were in Detroit in January.
You did not sleepwalk or sleep talk.
We
shared a bed for like at least one night, and
I didn't. Yeah. So all of that is to say that this home, which is beautiful and in the middle of nowhere feeling, and I say feeling because it's not actually in the middle of nowhere. We're in walking distance to a tiny town.
Yeah, it has all the things you need. A grocery store.
Of like a 5 storefront town. I guess I should apologize to you for waking you up in the middle of the night several times with my anxiety-inducing, sort of panicky. Well, I apologize for that because it is so quiet in this house that if we share a wall, our bedrooms share a wall, that I feel so bad. What can I do? I can't control it. But I know you told me that
Please don't feel bad.
You told me that you heard me saying yelling the word no, which is something I've done before. And then you heard me getting out of bed, and I have no recollection of this.
Fully, definitely out of bed.
So I can only imagine how terrifying that is when all you can hear is the cicadas just chirping away, and you're expecting to look and see the face of someone in a mask just pressing their face against the window.
Yeah. But let's not get too far into that because it is nighttime. We are in mountains, but it's been a beautiful, beautiful, very relaxing retreat. And I think that I like, to the point of the sleep talking and the stress thing, it has nothing to do with being here, or I don't think it has anything to do with being here or the silence room. It's just like we were talking about earlier today. I think it's just that all of us are under a lot of new stresses, and like for everybody it's sublimating in different ways. I had a friend text on a group chat recently saying that she had her first ever panic attack of her entire life. She's not the only one. That, people having lots of fears and stresses and stuff. And it's like, this is a natural response to literally our entire world being completely upended. Like that, that's normal. So I don't want you to apologize. I don't want you to feel any type of way about it. Especially because I really do think it's like a stress related thing.
That's your theory.
That's my theory, yeah. Unless you have any interest in doing like some dream walking or something, or like some sort of like alternative healing type of situation where you go to somebody who interprets your dreams and helps you like.
Well, so I a few years ago went to a therapist who, look.
It was not your style. This person was not your style.
I've made a lot of medical mistakes in my past. This makes it sound much, much different than it is. So anyway, then I got a mole removed in my back by a medical student who basically cut me into, it's fine, I'm fine. I didn't freak out. It was a great learning opportunity. Yeah. He was also very cute, and I know that shouldn't factor into the story, but it does. So where was I going with the story? There's another time.
You went to a therapist.
So then I went to a therapist. And then I decided I wanted to go to a therapist. Now, Keep in mind I have private insurance. I go
Also,
outside.
we believe in therapy. We're super pro therapy.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with that. I go outside of my outside of any therapist that I could get inside my network for like $10, $50, whatever a session, $10 to $50, let's say. I don't know. I don't even fucking know. So I go to this therapist who charges me $400.
That's fucking crazy. That's completely crazy.
Which I pay twice.
Oh my God.
I go to this guy twice. He's completely bald. He has that thing where you don't have any hair on your body. I don't know why I share that, except to say my orthodontist also had that appointment. Had that affliction, alopecia. So maybe there was some sort of connection to my. I said, Dr.
So you
Fields.
you felt secure because it was someone who had taken care of your teeth.
Yeah, he fixed my mouth.
This
and will fix my
person's
head.
Completely hairless.
Yeah.
He can also do things on my head.
So, so it's in the West Village, and I go in and I sit down, and he asked me to tell him everything I've ever dreamed.
Oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me.
And I'm like, well, I don't remember what I dreamed. He's like, you don't remember a dream? You don't remember? Well, your assignment is to catalog all your dreams.
Oh, you had to keep a dream journal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did go to a therapist.
The table's getting picked up
I'm sorry.
a lot. No, it's okay.
Sorry, we have a table that was built by my great grandfather that's a little bit creaky.
That's actually true. Yeah, it's a beautiful table. So you did not remember what you had.
He did not offer me any insight, and when I realized I had spent $800 in 2 weeks on therapy, I decided not to
pursue that.
Continue.
Which you found other therapeutic avenues that have been extremely effective for you and helpful and all those things. So
right. This has nothing to do with the therapy.
No, I know. I'm just saying it was not the right person for you. It was not the right approach for you.
It wasn't the right price point.
That's for damn
sure. I went to him twice, and he was a very nice guy. There was nothing wrong with him. There was nothing weird about him. He did have a thing about dreams, which could have been interesting, but again, 2 hours at $800.
I mean, if the price was right. So if you found some Yahoo Dreamweaver who would help you interpret.
Help me through the night? Is that the next?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would help you through the night.
Yeah.
Would you consider that?
I would, absolutely.
Okay.
This is my thought about anything related to what might sound as less than scientific methods, whether it be for therapy or tarot card reading or any sort of psychic thing, is that just like you go to church, one can go to church and listen to a person read out of a Bible, which is like, just a smattering of stories that someone made up and then threw in a cave, which are important stories and prove important points.
Right.
I think that however method is used to get me to a point where I make a realization about myself that I could have made.
And a lot of, actually, during quarantine, a lot of tarot spreads and stuff like that. And it's not that we believe that the cards hold anything. Like, power to determine anything or whatever. It's just, like, what kind of wisdom can we get from them to apply to our current situation? And if it leads to some kind of insight, which honestly a lot of them have. A lot of our cards had to do with big changes and travel and has ended up, I think, being just kind of supportive of our decisions that we've been making and the thoughts we've been having, and just like so many big changes and like deciding as we have, and during this month away. So we've been away from New York for a whole month, which first of all feels completely crazy, like especially after having been confined within basically a 2-mile radius of our apartments, as far as we can like walk back before having to use a bathroom or being thirsty. Since March, then to be away completely and be like have a car and just be like, I mean, I don't know, and
driving
seeing our
up and down the mountain roads,
seeing more people, really different people than we've seen in months, has led to this feeling of just completely being out of space and time. Like, I don't know when we are or where we are or like what's happening. But a lot of clarity during this month about just kind of where we are with like this fucking pandemic, like, you know, and like our lives, our personal lives, our professional lives. Like, we can't be in New York this fall, and that's like a huge decision.
Yeah.
And one that I was, I think, pretty assured of before we left, but like really feel like even more assured of after having been away for some time and having like the space to like think it through and being away from New York or whatever. Like, and New York is like our place and like our city, and like it's not something that we take lightly as you know, a decision. But like, anyway, so point being, the kind of the tarot card the tarot cards led us to it. But I really don't think you need a dream walker to help you with your issues.
Tying it back to the dream thing. Yeah. No,
anyway.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I'm sorry that I've woken you up a couple times in terror that things were happening. But with that said, thank you for being with me for the past 2 weeks and having this sort of writing retreat, if you will, of daily, just writing every day, going on walks or hikes and cooking all of our meals and sort of the things you might do on any sort of retreat has been great. It's been great. I feel like we've made a lot of progress.
It's been creatively clarifying, and I think, I mean, I don't know if being somewhere quieter has anything to do with that or not. I think it's just that we have this concerted time where it's just been us two, and it's like there's no routine to be established, like, oh, I'm coming to you today, you're coming to me today, we're gonna walk over, right. Like whatever. It's like we wake up, we're at work already, we're here in the house, and we had a plan. So our structure of our days has been like, typically we read a pilot, somebody else's pilot,
that has aired on television that you could watch the final result.
Yes. With our morning coffee, because we know ourselves not to be functional morning people, and that's a good thing to know about yourself. And then basically get into whatever our assignment is for the day. And we've each had we've been working on 2 scripts, so we've had the luxury to be able to flip-flop on who's working on which one, and the pleasure of going back to read something that you wrote that someone else has now written on.
Yeah.
And like just see how it evolved with someone else's, like, you know, with your eyes on it, and so it's been really cool, and it's been really, really like good decision to be here. So I'm really, really happy, and it's just been like really pleasant because we get to sort of set the rhythm of our days, and just like, you know, cooking our dinner, like sort of the ritualistic aspects of it, of like cooking dinner, like, you know,
it's really fortified for me, like what our we just happen to share sort of biorhythms, circadian rhythms.
That is true.
And when we live in the same place, it only just like has heightened that, and that we aren't morning people. We can read, we can comprehend, we can
talk,
we can
and
process
be
things.
Too, yeah.
But we usually come out of that place of just wanting to be in our own heads into like being able to talk to each other about the same time every day. We usually hit our stride at the same time, and it's like hours go by when we're in the same room and not talking to each other.
Yeah.
And then just so naturally we come out of that and like start cooking dinner and start emptying the dishwasher and start doing all of those things that happen at that period of time. And so that's been really a nice 2 week
hiatus from our other life. And I mean, this is like, I've been thinking about this fall as being a sabbatical. I keep calling it that because why do you keep calling it that? Well, because I'm not convinced that this is going to be me moving away from New York.
Right. So tell me, can we get into this for a second?
Yeah, we can.
I want to know because I haven't asked you fully about this sort of thing, because I feel from you this like real reticence to leave New York, even though, all circumstances have aligned so that like it just is not really viable for the fall of 2020.
Yeah. I am in agreement about that. It's not viable for fall of 2020.
Right.
Our industry is shut down. It's going to be shut down. We can't work. Not only can we not work, we can't create.
Right.
We can't make the events we want to make. Like we want to make like live performance. We want to make art. We want to be part of that ecosystem, and that's who our community is too in New York. And we can't participate in that community. We can't create our like creative stuff there that we do, and we can't we can't make money in New York. And so it's just kind of there's a almost cold calculus to it that it doesn't make sense to be sitting in my beloved apartment that I have.
You're very cute, very comfortable
that
apartment.
Finally, after 12 years in New York, I got my own place, and I have my own space that I have like completely tailored to my needs and like what I want and what I like, and it's exactly how I want it. And I've been there for less than a year now, and I'm going to leave it.
You're going to leave it at the year mark.
Yeah, at the year mark. So, but it doesn't make sense to be there and like set our money on fire when we can't be making more there. And so like it's a beautiful opportunity, and I think we've been talking about this, that I think what's really empowering about the whole situation is how can we frame a really terrible year, like a terrible scenario that we're all under this terrible scenario. It's and we have it. We're very lucky in so many ways, but how can we frame this as being choices between things that are fun, or that like feel like an adventure? So it's an adventure to go somewhere else, and rather than staying in New York, knowing that like, okay, well maybe things will open up January in our business, maybe we'll see tentatively. Knowing that we are not interested in like getting our toes wet in the like digital events arena at all. I'm not interested in that.
No, I don't mean.
Not even remotely. Like I don't want to pivot, quote unquote, to digital events or remote events. I don't want that. I want to be working an event. Like if I'm going to be working an event, I want to be working a fucking event. Or if I'm going to make an event, I want us to make an event that like, it doesn't really excite me that much to do like a digital version of what we do live.
No.
So anyway, so all that said, it makes a lot of sense to not be in New York this fall, and I'm totally okay with that. But what I'm kind of not okay with is the idea that like I'm not getting to leave New York. Like if this
on your
is
terms.
Yes. If this is like me moving away from New York permanently, I don't accept that because I don't feel that like I got to make that choice.
I guess I asked you that question because I do feel that reticence from you, and from all the things you've just said about all the reasons why, I know those reasons, and I don't feel like me as your like business and creative partner is like strong arming you into doing anything.
No,
I hope that
of course not.
You would never allow that. I know that, but at the same time, I guess it's more of a question just in general, in that like if you're leaving a place or a place in your life, whether it's physical or you're leaving a relationship or you're leaving a job or you're changing a home or doing anything, like there is really appreciating the time you've had and knowing that this is where you're leaving in the moment, and thinking maybe one day you'll return, and another to like not fully leave the place.
I don't think that's gonna. I first of all acknowledge what you're saying, and I totally understand what you're saying. You can't fully engage in the next adventure if you still have like one foot or one limb fully in the old place.
If you press pause on something.
Well, I disagree. I think you can press pause on something and be fully engaged in the next thing. And I don't have any worries about myself in that regard because I'm really excited. I mean, we haven't even decided where we're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like we're
and
like
I feel
dancing
that from
around
you
it.
too. I feel like the excitement you have about what's
I'm
to come
so
next.
excited.
So it's not that you're...
I'm really excited. And it doesn't matter where we are. Like, we have so many ideas about what it could be. Like, initially we wanted to be in Europe, of course, like, because our country is in complete fucking free fall. We can't be anywhere outside of America that we want to be because it's just not an option that's open to us anymore. And that's... I mean, like, I'm sad to abandon that dream, but that will be open to us at another juncture when it's right, and that's fine. And, like, you know, and on some level, we wouldn't even really be able to experience a new place in the way we'd want to anyway. But, you know, I'm really excited about where we go, and I'm really excited about starting a new project that's, like, inspired by the new place that we are, embarking on, you know, any number of new adventures, whether it's, like, home ownership or whether it's, you know, renting a furnished apartment in a city that we would never live in, like, for long term. But it's like, that's the gift that we get from having the privilege of being able to take 3 months to, like, save our rent in New York, but we still have the money to be able to basically burn a little bit to be somewhere else.
Yes.
And that's really cool, and I'm gonna be fully in. I'm gonna be fully in on it. This is very unlike us. So I'm saying that we're taking a leap. We're taking a leap. It's not even a leap of faith. It's just a leap. It's just a leap.
We're jumping somewhere, people.
We're jumping. And I think it's really important for you to challenge the part of yourself that wants to start spooling out to, you know, not tomorrow, next week, 3 months from now. Oh my God,
this is really... Yeah, this is... So, Umbrella and I are very different. I'm talking to, like, a third person now, which is fine. But the other night, you started saying something. I don't even remember what we were talking about. It might have been about this very subject about planning for September. And, I don't think it was, but it was something, and you said something about short term, we need to do this, and then in medium term, we need to do this, and then long term, we need to do this. And we've had enough circumstances in the past, you know, almost 10 years of working together where now you've helped me identify what overwhelms me, and that overwhelms me, is talking about short-term, medium-term, long-term,
which I love,
plans, which you love and can really process completely, quickly. All of those things at once simultaneously makes you feel really in control because you have the short, the medium, and me. If I don't immediately see the solution of how the medium and the long-term things are going to work out, I'm rendered
helpless.
Yeah. And what happens is you'll spin those out, and then you'll continue. So anyway, so what do you think? And then it's just like,
but your brain is stuck now on, like, long term.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going to happen when I die? Like, who's going to get my piano?
In the arc of time, we're going to be working together, you know.
Yeah.
We're going to be working together, period. So we're going to have to get used to being able to say short, you know, we're going to have to be used to talking in these terms.
And for me, it's like I don't consider it a weakness that I can't think of my short, medium, and long-term goals at one time and not get overwhelmed. That's just what am I?
I didn't say it was a weakness.
No. Yeah. I know. Mm-hmm. The point I'm making is that if you are a person like me, who is in situations and you often find yourself overwhelmed, and then you realize it's because you're like, there's someone else maybe like you or similar that is able to, like, hold all of that stuff together at one time. And because it took me years to figure out why I was getting so overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember. I'd be like, I don't know why. I'm just like, not, now you've said everything. Now I'm like not motivated to do anything.
Right.
And it's because I feel like I have to have an answer and a solution to
everything. And these are our control issues spinning out in different ways. Because, I mean, I guess my point in all this is not to, like, you were like, well, I see that you have a problem, and then I'm here telling you what your problem is. But no, but I think, like, part of this fall is us both kind of, like, being able to contend with how we deal with stressors and how we deal with change. And, like, people, I think it's really weird when our friends are like, oh, but you're so, like, you're very bold and you're very open to change. And I don't feel that about myself. I know that I'm not that way. Like it may appear that way, but like risky move I've ever taken, every like, you know, quitting my job and just like, you know, becoming a freelancer, whatever, all these things. It's like I know the anguish and like thought process that went behind changes that might seem to other people as being like freewheeling or something. There's nothing I've ever done in my life has been freewheeling. I've never made like a unconsidered decision. So I'm very averse to change.
I think the process of that we, you know, acknowledging, being aware that change is something that's hard for you and wanting to embrace sort of, you know, embrace change sounds so like silly to say.
Yeah.
But, you know, being, you know, more open to change, for lack of a better terminology. I think you are. I think you're, you know, and what I really love about you is like with a little bit of time, and like when I say a little bit of time, I mean very little bit of time. Like a new idea, you just need a second to like recalibrate what something can be, and then you're like, okay, I get it now. Like, I mean, let's do that thing. Mm-hmm. I'm much less flexible.
Yeah. So, I'm not gonna argue with you about that.
You know, I can be like, oh, let's go here, and then we can do this thing, and you're like, give me 3 minutes, mm-hmm. and then 3 minutes later, you're like, yep, we can do that. Let's do that. What do we need to do? Mm-hmm. What kind of bathing suit do I need to pack? And me, I'm like, well, you know, I'm like not that flexible, right?
Yeah.
So I think in those ways, like you're like pretty flexible. Mm-hmm. I think there's like an emotional stubbornness to you sometimes.
Yeah. Like, duh. But yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to, I think, challenge your core beliefs about yourself. And, you know, they're core beliefs for a reason. They're core to your understanding of the world is, you know, like that. Those are intrinsic to the way that I understand the world and that I relate to the world. So I'm not going to be quick to change my mind about those things. And I will be completely blind to any evidence that leads me against that because it challenges my core belief.
Right.
I know. And that's why people go to therapy. So
you have successfully embraced at this moment the changes and that you have in a month, whatever happens, we will be in a different place, mm-hmm. doing a different thing to the day. Mm-hmm. And you are embracing that really beautifully and probably better than I do because I scream in my sleep and processing things that way.
No.
But, and, God, I used to work with a person who used to always say but and I hated her. Mm-hmm. Something about you that I've always valued.
Tell me. I love hearing a list.
Is your ability to fully and without any reluctance or trepidation be like, well, I'm in this mood. Or you own like where you are pretty well. Uh-huh. Emotionally.
True. That's true.
And that is not like a practice thing I had, partially because I grew up in a codependent like household where you're like can't have ownership of your feelings because you have to take care of someone else's feelings. Yeah. So I've always valued that in you, where you can just be like, you know,
I'm sad and I'm
sad,
I'm in it,
and I want to like eat this popsicle right now.
Uh-huh. Oh, I want a popsicle. I would like to get a popsicle.
I would also like to get a popsicle.
I want to talk a little bit about a few things.
Yes.
No, it's really I'm the one who has to suffer when I have to edit you eating gummy pears. That was the worst.
I have a wet mouth to begin with.
You do.
And the public needs to understand
that even when your mouth is empty, it sounds like it's full of marbles sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
My speech therapist said that. Mm-hmm. My mother would agree.
That's why you went to speech therapy. Right. Because your mother felt
because
that
I was unintelligible. Mm-hmm.
And that, even saying of that word, I saw what it cost you.
Unintelligible. What was I saying the other day? Shell?
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I think you have a care sometimes with things, that when you say things, where I can now tell sometimes what it costs you to enunciate, and certain things are more difficult than other things.
Look, all you people anywhere else in the country, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. When you just, sometimes things sneak up on you and you're like, I can't get my, or you think of the thing you want to say, and then you have to think of the alternative, because it was just it's just too many. It's like a, what are those called? Obstacle course.
I did one happen.
I was trying to say snail.
Shell.
Snail. It's hard to say. Snail shell.
There's actually
snail shell.
Yeah, because so there's a.
That's hard to say.
There is a garden decor item that is a snail, and there was a lizard on top of the snail shell, and you were trying to tell somebody about this, and then it came out as snail shale. And it was very sweet. Anyway, it happened. And
Sorry, I have
popsicle mouth.
Popsicle mouth. I'm not insulting your intelligence.
Okay, so no. What I would like to say about our flag is that I would advocate strongly, even though we are big, we're big navel gazers, we're people who are very interested in complexity. Right.
It's a butthole.
It's a butthole. End of segment. No, I was just saying, motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
That I would advocate against excessively complex flag, because then people from the other side of the lake are like,
no, that's very important.
That side of the lake.
Really good point.
I don't know what that is.
No words, first of all. So no words, right? Are we agreed?
No words.
Unless it's one big word, like fluff. How about that?
Or sparkle.
That's too long.
Okay.
What about bum?
Bum?
Yeah. Or
so I feel like you have something on the brain right now. I think so do we choose maybe a spirit animal? What would you say your spirit animal would be? Are we not supposed to use spirit animal? Is that racist? I can't keep up. I'm sorry.
We're probably.
Okay.
It probably is. Animals that I identify with. So the animal that I always wanted to be in elementary school when people asked the question was a duck. What?
Oh my god, your face is so sweet and serious. I'm sorry. What?
Specifically, and I'm not shitting you. Specifically, a protected duck, because I wouldn't get shot.
Okay, so you don't want to be like a common mallard. You have to be like a painted wood
lady.
Duck.
Yeah.
Painted lady.
Yeah. So because they can walk and swim and fly.
Oh, so you felt like you were gaming the system by having like bitch, I can do all.
Yeah, I'm real mobile.
Yeah.
Can I guess what your animal is?
Yeah.
Well, you're a girl, so it's a pony.
I was a horse girl. I drew horses.
I'm sorry, I'm not being sexist.
I don't know. Because the animal that I like the most are elephants. Because I think they're really...
Oh, that's such a good pick.
Because they're really...
I love that.
Yeah, they're really smart and they're really nice to each other. They have formed lifelong bonds. They have names for each other.
I know. Okay.
How about a fruit? A peach. That way it splits the difference. It's welcoming.
Pineapple is a traditional welcoming fruit. Peach is a good option.
Yeah, it's like, do you have a butt? You're welcome here. One thing that is not acceptable is to have a novelty mailbox that is a miniature version of your own home.
No.
And I agree with that, and
I
see you.
I think it's just unacceptable. It's just like, what do you... I guess I just don't understand what the...
You're telling the world, hey world, I have a house and it looks like this, which you could see if you just looked up and then saw my house.
One more quick thing about mailboxes now that we're on the subject. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Ada and Christopher Stevens. For the mail jail, if you're listening, you'll remember this, which I can't even take credit for, but I was in the photo shoot.
I am so curious at this point that I don't know.
It's a real build-up.
Okay.
So there was a thing in my elementary school, and I must have been in first grade at the time. My brother was in fifth grade at the time, and it was called the Invention Convention. And it was with everyone in either the gifted class or the fifth grade class or some portion of the fifth grade class had come up with an invention and present it at the Invention Convention in the library. And his invention was called the mail jail.
Oh, it's where we send all the men to jail.
No.
I support it fully.
No.
Okay.
This was born of a complaint that my mother had every time she pulled up to our mailbox, because she felt like the post office
they put it really far into
would
the hole.
Throw it in the back.
Yeah.
And she was positioned in her car in such a way that she would have to open the door. But my brother invented a simple tray that inserted inside the mailbox, so that when the mail was thrown in, my mom could just pull the tray out and
That's actually
get the
brilliant.
mail. And
That's
it was called the mail jail. And in order to present it at the convention, we had to have photos. And so there were photos of my brother and I modeling the mail jail, in which my mom moved the furniture out of our foyer and moved this like total 80s era glass coffee table. And it was like pictures of us in this glass coffee table with a mailbox, like showing how
did you bring a mailbox into your home?
You know, I don't remember as I'm saying that. I don't know if she bought a new mailbox or if she
she could
screwed
not
it
have
from our mailbox.
Okay, a woman who was unwilling to reach into the back of the mailbox is not a woman who's going to unscrew the mailbox from its post.
All I know is that there was photo evidence of us doing it. So that's the only story I can share about mailboxes. But
that's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to add this to the list of apocryphal items relating to the Andrew Stevens story. The mail jail photo shoot. The mail jail photo shoot. The college film project. This was a piece of work that cataloged the licentious.
You could say that.
Yeah, I think I could say more about the group home.
I lived in a group home in college.
No, how many people live there?
7.
7 people there. It was a wild place, and there was documentary films, like a student film documentary that was captured of the insane shenanigans that occurred.
I'm trying to find it. I haven't found it yet.
And that exists on DVD somewhere. The one that I don't know if we'll ever get our hands on, that I am just dying to have a screening of, is when you and your friend, and maybe you were in 4th grade, maybe it was later than that, maybe it was junior high, you and your friend recorded a version of The Real World where it was about the Golden Girls.
Yes.
It was like, this is the story of when, four people start getting real, whatever. Except it was the Golden Girls, and you played the roles of the Golden Girls. Was it just the two of you?
Yes.
So first of all, that's very gay, and I commend you for that.
There's 2 gay boys
in this deep south.
In the deep south, doing a real world. Actually, it's a brilliant concept.
Real world parody, except it's the Golden Girls.
Yeah. And we had confessionals of what Blanche was thinking about Rose and what.
Yeah. So how old would you say you were?
I was definitely in 6th grade.
6th grade. Okay. So 2 babies making a fake documentary.
Yes, over the summer.
And that to me is maybe the key piece of.
That would really bring something into focus for you, into relief.
No, it's just something that I want to.
You just want to see it.
I just want to see it. I just want to pop, movie theater popcorn.
Yeah.
And pop that in the VCR.
That was really good. We did really good work then. What time is it?
Oh my god, it's so late.
What time?
It's 12:10.
Okay. We should go to bed.
We gotta go to bed.
Get up early.
We gotta get up.
Did you put the things in the dryer?
Nope. I'm gonna do it right now.
Because my mom's going to be here in 7.5 hours.
That is an exaggeration. Okay. Let's sign off. And I'm sleepy. And I can tell you're fading fast.
Fading fast.
Okay. Love you. Good night.
Love you. Good night.
You can subscribe to us anywhere you listen to podcasts and find us at vjandstevens.com. That's VIJAY and Stevens with a PH. We're working on some scripts and some fun new live projects. You can find us at VJ and Stevens on Instagram, and our assistant Susan now tweets at Memos from Susan.
No other direction. It's the circle.
Let the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a certain home waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. The gain is up, way too high, Lord. The gain is up, way too high.